Jim Cornette reviews Hulk Hogan being booed on WWE Raw on Netflix. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Hulk Hogan was not just booed on the Raw on Netflix. He was enemy number one. He was the most hated person in the universe on Monday night. I mean, these boos were visceral. They were angry. They were unrelenting. To Hogan's credit, he persevered. He read that script. He said what he had to say, and he got the holy hell out of there. It was crazy to watch. Unreal theater. And let's listen to what Corny has to say about it, and we shall react along the way.
Came the moment we've all been waiting for. The music played, and here came Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart. He is a real American. Americans hate him as only Americans. This was the thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, that was the misguided thing, was that this really wasn't a wrestling crowd. I'm sure there were some like big diehard wrestling fans. It was mostly a corporate crowd. It was mostly celebrities. It wasn't exactly the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. So, yeah, this crowd could have cared less about Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre. They know Hulk Hogan from ripping off the MAGA shirt. They know Hulk Hogan for everything that he has said and done in the last 6 months. Like, that's the Hulk Hogan they know. They don't know Hogan for beating Sergeant Slaughter and ending the Gulf War. And they certainly responded that way.
Out of the building. As he was trying to do the promo where he put the WWE and the fans over.
Yeah.
And talk about how great the fans are and how great tag team partners they've been for. They were hooting him out. I think, we were talking a little earlier about how, well, they really like Mick Foley as a human being, right? And they like The Rock as a star, but they're kind of in the middle with Cena. They like him as a star, but he's also a nice human being, whereas The Rock is just on Mount Olympus. But this was an example of, we don't care whether you've been a star or not as a person. We hate the fuck out of you. Has he just lied and bullshitted? And I mean, we know about the video. That was 10 years ago.
I think that's a big part of it.
People just see him as kind of this scumbag, for lack of a better term, and they could care less, like I said, about him ending the Gulf War with Sergeant Slaughter, and they could care less about whatever he did in WCW, and it's just, you say things in the public eye one too many times, and that's something that you just don't shake. And I think that's something that Hogan just hasn't shaken or won't shake unless he is in front of a tried and true wrestling crowd who only cares about Hulk Hogan, and they don't care about Big Terry in real life.
I think the video's a major part of it. Again, it's in Los Angeles.
But he's been back and he's not been carried out of the building on their shoulders, but they haven't savaged him when he was there a couple years ago making an appearance.
Yeah, but you also got to factor in, he was a huge voice for Donald Trump. Los Angeles, again, ain't very happy about that, especially right now. Couple nights away from the inauguration. All that is certainly part of this, and all of that certainly is what's different between right now, where a month ago Hogan is ripping off the shirt to reveal the MAGA shirt. That is fresh in people's mind, along with everything Hogan has done to be a scumbag.
This was like, fuck you, we're sick the fuck of you.
No, they booed him from the second he came out. You felt bad for Jimmy Hart because he's out there waving the American flag as best he can, and they're just booing. He mentioned Andre the Giant and Randy Savage. They booed everything.
They almost booed Andre's name, but they wouldn't even react to Randy Savage because Hogan.
If Hogan was handing out tickets to heaven, they would have been booing him.
Is the one who said it. And there's poor Jimmy, the nicest guy in the building, is back there waving that flag, and he's 80. And he was moving better than fucking Hogan was.
It's not easy just to wave a flag for 2 minutes straight. That's that's incredible in an 80-year-old.
Hogan looked crippled and his arms are gone. Jimmy's 80 years old. He's waving that flag, and the poor guy, he has to get Hogan's residual boos, but not just the video and just the general heat he had before, but this seemed like fresh. We keep hearing you and we keep seeing you, and you're full of shit every time we do, and we don't want to hear no more of you. This is a new.
Yeah, I agree with that. This was fresh, reignited hate. This was not like, oh yeah, we remember that thing you did 10 years ago. This was like, we hate you right now. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm a wrestling purist. But I'd book the hell out of Hogan right now. I'd book the holy hell out of Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He would be my biggest heel. He would be running down the crowd in every blue state in America. He'd be the champion. He would do all of that. That's what I would do. And maybe I'm, watch too many shoot videos with Russo. Maybe that's the case. And am I going to apologize for that? No. But right now, I would have Hulk Hogan in the back dyeing his beard the Hollywood Hulk Hogan style. I'd be having Dennis Rodman on a plane. I'd do whatever I could. I'd get Hogan ready to roll. I'd have him in the boots with the lightning going up the boot. You know what I'm talking about. I'd have that ready to roll. And if we went to any big city in America, Hogan is lighting that place up.
New day, stay out of our goddamn business.
I think the video is a big part of it. I think the fact that his reputation over the last decade has grown as being just a liar. The video where we talk about all of his lies, it's like 2 million people have watched that video.
Yeah.
And that's just our video. I mean, his reputation has grown. I do think for, especially Los Angeles, politically leaning, not to make this about politics, I think that's a big part of it too. There's not much appealing about Hulk Hogan as a person right now. And again, he's coming out there, he's crippled. I mean, I've never seen him look that bad.
As a person, yes, total scumbag. No doubt. But wrestling does have that interesting place where you can be a scumbag, but if your character is cool enough, people, kind of turn a blind eye. Not in this case.
He couldn't have made it to the ring. They had to do this right where he took only 10 steps and came out and waved. And they're booing everything, his beer that no one wants, that's the other thing. Like Ric Flair had woo energy. This is like that on a bigger scale. They're now going to be sponsored.
Plus, kids are not going to be allowed to drink it. But that's the thing, is that he announced that, and a great tag team partner is going to be the WWF or WWE and my Real American Beer, and they hooted the shit out of the beer. But doesn't Steve Austin have a beer?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the beer.
Oh, he did have something. I mean, it's been a while ago. I hadn't even thought about that. He did have something, yeah.
There's nothing to do with the beer. Who cares? Like, if Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA or whatever, I'm sure does fine. People like Stone Cold Steve Austin. If Stone Cold Steve Austin would have came out on this show, he would have been cheered and people would have loved it. Austin is not politically in line with Los Angeles, but he's not a scumbag in real life to the level of Terry.
But how the fuck?
Because they want to make money, so they're not going to spend a bunch of money advertising on WWE.
But I'm gobsmacked that of all of the people that they've ever had on their roster, Hulk Hogan was say your prayers, take your vitamins. He was the kids' hero in the 80s. He was the all-American guy. But if you think about drinking beer, you're thinking about Steve Austin. And how they missed that, I don't know. And why anybody would want to drink beer that Hulk Hogan... What does it, turn you into a fucking liar?
I don't know what Cornette's missing here. This isn't WWE's beer. This is Hulk Hogan's beer. This is Hulk Hogan's beer venture, Real American Beer. This isn't WWE creating a beer. Yeah, I'm sure if WWE was creating beer, they would do it with Steve Austin, not Hulk Hogan. This is Hulk Hogan's venture.
You know,
how and
him and Flair are very similar at this stage right now. In terms of just anyone who comes along with some money, hey, we want to slap your name on this product. Yeah. Sure, brother. Just as long as you pay me my $1 million, whatever.
But it's just and Hogan was never cool with the guys. I mean, guys liked Hogan, especially in the 80s and the
Hogan Hollywood is cool. The NWO is cool. Which is why this little mixture of like the real American Hulk Hogan with the beer thing is kind of weird, but the real American is trying to play on the newfound patriotism in the country, where it's all about red, white, and blue, you know, getting jacked, drinking beer, like that is very in vogue right now. So Hogan is playing that up. So he's trying to combine the jacked, you know, bleach blonde, muscle body, you know, whatever, Venice Beach. He's trying to combine that with the newly cool beer drinking, you know, machismo, which, you know, it makes some sense.
The NWO in the 90s, but was Hogan ever cool like Nature Boy Ric Flair, or cool like Hall and Nash, or a cool heel, or a cool anything? Or
he was a cool heel with Hollywood. Hollywood was a cool heel for sure. Now you could argue a lot of that's NWO, a lot of that was just on the backs of Nash and Hall. Like, I understand that, but Hollywood was absolutely cool.
Did he just hang around with the cool guys, and he had more of a WWF ice cream bar reputation?
I think Hulk Hogan was cool up until around 86, 87, when all of a sudden he switched to yellow.
But was he cool to the adults?
I think he was cool up until that point. Then he became kind of a character of himself as things became more successful and they kind of went down a different road and made him more kid-friendly. This was his town. You know, it's important to note he was a big draw in L.A.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's not like this is the middle of nowhere. This is a town.
I think what this guy's talking about too with the caricature of himself is important, because if you look at the Real American Beer merch, it's like this cartoonish version of Hogan where he's this, I mean, it's a blast from the past. He is huge, jacked, rippled, muscly. It's kind of like a artist's rendition. You know, he's got the red, white, and blue. He's got the flag. Like, he looks like a combination of like a sci-fi novel cover and him. But in real life, Hogan is certainly not that. He is falling apart physically. His arms looked like if you took skin and filled it with milk. I mean, he could barely walk. Like, it's very different than the image you see on the can. So that was one of those things where he was kind of a parody of himself in that moment.
That he was a major star in.
Well, he can draw a crowd now. They'll all have rocks in their hands to throw at him, but he can gather the folks.
Yeah.
Hey, this has to make you wonder if they're going to rethink him being on Saturday night's main event.
Well, they can't bring him back after that reception, can they?
I don't see
probably
how.
Not.
Because there's not one. I can't think of a single legend that has ever been booed like that.
Yeah,
I've never seen Hogan booed like that. Even when the NWO switch happened, that was in the middle of a heel turn, and he's doing a heel promo, and he calls the fans crap. That makes sense. They booed him from the second that music. Pat McAfee was yelling like Jesus returned. Oh my God! Ah! And he was the only one. Everyone else started booing immediately. And it kept up for the whole thing. Jimmy, it's just such a surreal sight.
He got him to boo Netflix. He's out.
I mean, if a tag team of Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy was announced, I don't think they would have been booed like Hogan was booed in that moment. I mean, that honestly, I'd have to go back and rewatch some Nitro, but it is hard to imagine someone getting booed like that. It was crazy to watch.
Netflix is our greatest tag team partner. The fans booed that.
Netflix was in the building. They saw that. So if they ever thought about, hey, we should do a Hulk Hogan project, maybe not. He's lost the fans completely.
He lost. I don't know how much that's true. Has he lost the fans or that kind of fan? Like the high up Los Angeles corporate crowd? Because that's what that was. We can all agree that was certainly not a wrestlers wrestler crowd. That was not the dirt sheets crowd. That was not the wearing wrestling t-shirts crowd. That was we're wearing suits to the show crowd. That was we're all wearing Rolexes crowd. That's what that was. So Hogan, it's no surprise that Hogan has lost that. it's no surprise that Hogan has lost the corporate Los Angeles into its center $500 ticket crowd. No doubt about that. Now, you put that show in Philadelphia, or you put that show in Toronto or another wrestling crowd, like, I don't know. Maybe he hasn't lost that crowd.
He has his fans, but in terms of
they weren't there.
In terms of the wrestling fan base, would it even pop a number right now if Hulk Hogan was announced in advance as being there? I don't know.
I think you'd have more people on a picket line than you would in buying tickets to see the show.
You brought up Steve Austin. If Steve Austin was there, I think people would have reacted big.
Oh, they would have gone out of their mind.
Yeah,
it's a Hogan-specific thing. And again, like Flair, we started showing up at AEW TV, and it was not very good. All of a sudden, his energy drink was all over the room. We heard it was a multi-year thing. That ended quick. The Hogan beer. Again, this is not Coors Light or Michelob or anything you could think of that's a nationally recognized brand. It's an upstart with Hulk Hogan as the spokesperson or icon or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, let's see how long this lasts. This will be interesting.
Whew.
That was the word. I mean, I can't think of a more counterproductive appearance for someone trying to promote their own product.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I'm thinking if there is a new audience, they're going to be, why? We thought Hulk Hogan was a big hero. These people want to lynch him. What the fuck?
I would love to know what the conversation was backstage. Because, that had to be jarring for everybody. Because, again, it wasn't mixed. It wasn't a mixed response. It wasn't like, we expect some people to hate him, whatever. This was 100% zero on Rotten Tomato. Like, this was universally hated in that building. There was not a person cheering that wasn't being paid to cheer Pat McAfee. Like, that, I can't even imagine when Hogan got through the curtain and got backstage what the conversation was. Triple H and they had to be like, what the hell just happened? They had to have been shocked. I was shocked watching it. Not that he was getting booed, but at the universal hate that was in that crowd. So, yeah, I bet Hogan, again, whoever wrote that promo was like, yeah, they'll pop when you say that the best partner was the fans. Yeah, they'll pop whenever you say Andre or Sat. They'll pop during that, brother. Like, they wrote that. They expected that. They didn't write that promo expecting him to get booed. So when he got back, I guarantee you every single person who worked on that was like, yeah, we don't know what just happened there.
Did he come out as NWO Hogan at Saturday night's main event? Now he's a heel yelling at them to take advantage of this.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is where you gotta pivot. And the good news for wrestling is that Hulk Hogan has what I think, besides Mr. McMahon, the greatest heel in wrestling history. So pivot immediately, come out as NWO Hogan, shit on the fans, talk down to everybody, and go from there.
No, because that's the thing, is that these people made it clear, and if they speak for the rest of these high ticket price paying WWE fans, it was like, no, we do not want to see you. Boo, we do not like you. Go away from here. We are not going to pay to see you, nor do we want to look at you now. And that's, it wasn't even mixed, was it? Were the people who wanted to cheer him, were they just afraid to open their mouths? They might get shot.
See, that's the only thing. It started out and instantly with so many boos. I guess the only thing you can think of is that someone would be standing there wanting to cheer him, like, I don't want to be seen as the only person in the section doing this. And that was bad. I never thought I'd see the day where Hogan was booed like that at a WWE event. They cheer everyone. That's crazy. But again, it's LA. But we'll see what happens going forward.
They're meaner in New York and Philly than they are in LA.
Cornette's missing the whole political side. I don't know if he just doesn't follow it or whatever, but he's completely missing LA. He's completely missing that part of it.
Come on.
Even like him doing the cupping of the ear just didn't look good. Like he couldn't move his shoulder like that, I guess. I don't know what. It wasn't working.
Well, but besides that, he didn't need to cup his ear. He could hear him booing the shit out of him to plain as day.
Can you imagine they start booing and he's cupping the ear and he's doing
I mean, that's what was crazy. Like he's one step away from doing the full flexing while they're throwing beer bottles at him.
What did they say to him when he went in the back? Because there was no, all right, we have like 30 seconds before he gets back here. No, he was right there because he couldn't walk.
Yeah. Oh, well, it worked in rehearsal. But I don't see how, because he mentioned the names of popular people who then the crowd turned against. So I don't see how they can bring him back. What do they go out and say? Look, we got 3 or 4 guys who's really over as big stars, Hulk. Please don't mention their name. Please, just don't say anything about them.
Because he even did like Macho Man, oh yeah. And you just hear, boo!
Oh, fuck you. Keep his name out of your whore mouth.
And they went to like the wide shot so you just see people standing and yelling, boo. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, they hated him. Crazy, man. Crazy. Wrestling is cinema. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below what you thought about Hogan's appearance on Raw. What would you do? Would you scratch him? Or would you bring back Hollywood? Let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.